Well, a lot of Democrats have come out tonight calling Comey's firing an atrocity against good government, although many felt differently just a few months ago. Here are some.
In order for us to do our investigation in a thorough and credible way, we're going to need the FBI to fully cooperate, to be willing to tell us the length and breadth of any counterintelligence investigations they're conducting. At this point, the director was not willing to do that.
I am so disappointed in Comey. He has let the country down for partisan purposes, and that's why I called him the new J. Edgar Hoover, because I believe that.
Do you believe that Jim Comey should resign, Senator Reid?
Of course, yes.
Well, Congressman Dem Ryan is a Democrat representing the state of Ohio, and he joins us tonight. Congressman, thanks for coming on. I know you've followed this whole Russia question pretty closely for a while. I know you supported Hillary Clinton for president in the last presidential election. So is it good or bad that Jim Comey is no longer running the FBI?
Well, I think it's an issue of timing, Tucker, and you can't ignore that fact that here we are just days after, I think, not only innuendos but comments that there's real connection between the Trump administration and Trump folks and Russia, that Comey is leading this investigation, and now all of a sudden the same Donald Trump that at the end of October was saying how this guy had guts, that Comey was a great guy, unbelievable, he was doing such a great job. Now you fast forward into the investigation of the Trump administration, and all of a sudden he cuts them loose. It was an act of self-interest.
So I understand your complaint, sort of, but I think people watching at home want to know, was he the right guy running the FBI or not? And if not, why isn't there rejoicing on the Democratic side of the House and Senate?
Well, because he's in the middle of an investigation. Look, we had Vladimir Putin get involved in our presidential election. We know that that happened. We know he wanted to influence it. And now we're having an investigation as to whether or not members of the Trump administration had connections to Russia, to Putin, to intelligence people in the Russian government. And now we're having that investigation, and the president, who may have benefited from Putin's actions, decapitates the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And to me, that sends up a lot of red flags that we all should be concerned about.
Well,
the American people need to be able to trust that we're going to have an honest investigation here.
But there are so many levels on which this is playing out. So one, you've already conceded, and the leaders of your party have conceded, and in fact complained about the fact that Comey was not a reliable leader of the FBI. They thought he was flaky, and they said so. They said they didn't trust him. Okay, so A, why would you want someone like that in charge of any investigation, particularly one into American national security? B, what you're saying is not true. The investigation is not over. It will merely be headed by somebody else, but it's being done by people below the level of FBI directors. So this hasn't decapitated the Bureau.
Well, first of all, Tucker, the Republicans, including Donald Trump, were praising Comey in October of last year before the election. And now all of a sudden, he's done a 180 because Comey is investigating his ties to Russia. Well, don't you find that a little bit peculiar that now all of a sudden in October he has guts, and in April, May, beginning of May, he's unfit? That's not a coincidence.
Okay, let me just say two things. First of all, we're looking at the former director right now. I don't know if I will answer your question in 1 second, but I just want to alert our viewers to what they're seeing now. We're seeing the former director of the FBI, Jim Comey, boarding a private aircraft in Los Angeles, destination unknown exactly. He was supposed to be giving a speech out there. Excuse me, apparently tonight he is not. Let me just say, I thought at the time of his announcement, as I said 5 times tonight, in July of last year about Hillary Clinton, that act revealed him as unfit to lead the FBI. I'm not here to defend the White House's changing position on him. I'm merely here to ask a really simple question, which is, should Jim Comey have been running the most powerful law enforcement agency in the world? And Democrats have said for a long time, no, he shouldn't. Now he's not, and yet they're complaining about it. And I'm just confused about that. Because as an American, I want to know the right guy's running the FBI, and he clearly wasn't. So, this is good.
There's no need to be confused. I obviously, as well as many others, and it sounds like you as well, had some real concerns with how Comey handled himself during the election. Fair. We're in total agreement. So if there's a problem there, why aren't you firing this guy on January 25th?
I just said that earlier in the show. I wish that they had, but they didn't. Now they have. And let's be happy about it because it wasn't good for the country.
Here's the difference, Tucker, is that the very guy who was praising him in October is now getting investigated by this gentleman. This guy is now, Comey is now saying, we are investigating the Trump administration. This is a serious act.
No.
Putin is coming to get us.
Okay.
Yes.
But that's not what's happening. It's that Jim Comey is not the sum total of the FBI. The FBI continues to investigate this Russia story, valid or not. It does not end with the departure of Jim Comey. So it's not like he has somehow committed a coup against his own government and taken the key person out. Nothing changes other than the flaky guy at the top is now getting on a private plane to somewhere. And again, that's good.
Well, the fact that you get rid of the top guy sends shock waves throughout the Bureau. There's no question about that. And here's the other issue that we really have to talk about. There's a pattern here. The Ninth Circuit Court has disagreements with Donald Trump's position on certain things. Trump wants to blow up the Ninth Circuit. Yates says things from the Attorney General's office, saying not to hire Flynn. Be careful with this guy. He's got ties to Russia. She gets fired. Now all of a sudden Comey says that he is investigating the Russia situation. He gets fired and asked to leave. There's a pattern of behavior here with Trump.
Look, I don't want you to mislead our viewers into believing that the president somehow has the power to fire the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, the judges who sit on that. He simply doesn't. He's not going to. And if he attempts to do that, I and everybody else with a job and a brain will complain about it because that would be appalling. That's not going to happen. So let's not pretend it's going to happen. He was within his rights to can Sally Yates. She didn't work for him. She was a political appointee held over from the Obama administration. I mean, do you know what I mean? I know you're trying to make the case for creeping fascism, but I just don't think the evidence is there right now.
I'm not talking about creeping fascism, and I'm not here to get dramatic. I'm not here to make this have any more drama involved here than there's already present in this current situation. What I am saying here is that there has been a pattern. There is a way to rearrange federal courts. There is a way to do that. And the President of the United States could send a chilling effect to the courts by being one of the first presidents to really come out and slam the judicial branch, unlike many others. Other presidents have disagreed but not gone after judges like Trump has.
Well,
and
I mean,
when someone gives you advice saying one of...
Can I just ask you a quick question? We're almost out of time. Really simple question.
Yeah.
You really think that Trump, in firing Jim Comey, has abused his power more than Jim Comey abused his power when he mishandled the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails? Mens rea, Tucker. It's all about intention. I don't think Comey necessarily intended to have the election go one way or the other. He felt, in my opinion, he felt trapped because he said he would come back to Congress. Right,
now, I disagree with what he did. I disagree with how he handled it. Trump intentionally tried to scare the Ninth Circuit, intentionally decapitated the FBI because he doesn't like what they're doing with the investigation into Russia. It's all about what your intentions are.
He's decapitated. No, he canned a guy who was weird and deserved to go, but that's not decapitation.
He canned a guy, Tucker, that was investigating him. I mean, you cannot be this oblivious.
We've been through this, Congressman, but I hope you will come back because I think we're getting closer to agreement. Thanks a lot. FBI Director Jim Comey has been fired.